Blog Talk Radio.
God, you are great and you are worthy to be praised. We will praise you all our days. We are your students. Teach us your ways, word by word, page by page. In the Hebrew we say, Elohim, אתה גדול ואתה ראוי לשבחים. אנו נשבח אותך כל ימינו. אנחנו התלמידים שלך, ללמד אותנו את האמת שלך, מילה אחר מילה, דף אחר דף.
It's Talk One's Talk. Talmadim.
I just wanna get the knowledge. Wonder how they got it. I see a different message in the pages and decided to get the understanding that the Father had prescribed them. I'm thinking that it's very concrete. Show us we will listen. Show us and we listen. We will listen.
That they took can't change. Context is a must. Any artist can paint, contains your vision, trust. Moving the picture around like an auction, getting bucks off your often cause you rush from a lost sense in your customs and your ways to the most high is appalling, yeah, that's us. And here's the reason, the cause of it's the gist. Who exactly we pleasing, the Father or the rest? His set apart Talmudim wrote his word perfect, but we often want to change according to our own belief. All we gotta do is read, dig a little deep, learn a little Ibrit. Ha ha. Lord Shabbat Abba, Eloheinu Aga. All praises to the Father for bringing our knowledge further indeed. I can't start from the beginning and read and make sure it's not preconceived, the man.
Welcome to His Talk One's Talk, where our mission is and has been from the beginning to contextually read the scriptures from the understanding from the people that wrote it, letting go of preconceived notions and any doctrine that hasn't been consistent or doesn't line up. This show is without bias, with the goal to grow together as a family. The call-in number is 516-595-8238, and we are open to any questions or comments. Shalom.
Shalom, shalom. Welcome to another Talk One radio broadcast. I will be your host today, Ep9, and today we'll be going into 2 Kings. We're doing the first 3 chapters, and as usual, press the 1 to get into the queue. Press 1 to get out after you ask your questions so we know you're getting back in. And press 1 anytime. I'm with my other hosts, Yediah and Shema. So we're going to go into opening statements. I'll start since I'm already talking, and I'll go with Yediah. And then so on. Like I just said, I'm Ep9. Just excited to get this show going. For those that didn't hear, go back and listen to the last rest show, some good information. For those that don't know, we're doing rest shows every 4 weeks. So we're doing it a lot more frequently. So remember those questions that you have. Put them in our GroupMe or our Facebook and stuff like that, and then it could be part of rest shows. I'm just letting you know or re-implementing, some of the processes that we got going on, so we can get a little bit more feedback from the people. That's all I got today. and I'll give the floor to Sedia.
Hi, Shalom. Just want to first off give all praise to the Most High for waking me up this morning and allowing me to be able to participate in this show. I'm excited, ready to get to it. We opening up this new book, 2 Kings, so I'm ready to get, the ball rolling on that and then, push forward to the next season. Also, just want to let everybody know that all the episodes to season 2 is posted on YouTube. So if you want to check out any show that you miss, you can go to YouTube, type in a search, His Talk One's Talk Radio, click on the icon, which really ain't an icon, it's just a blank face with the red background. Hopefully I can start working on some graphical work, to help market the brand. But as of right now, that's what it is. But just go there. All the shows from the first show up into the last show we did, which was the Rest Show, which was a very good show. So if you didn't check that one out, I would encourage you to check that one out. Very informational, very edifying. And that's all I have. Shalom.
Shalom, everyone. This is Shema Ben Yael, and I appreciate all of you for calling in and hopefully getting a good, edifying, informational show from these brothers and myself and those that call in. We are now in 2 Kings, chapters 1 through 3, and I'm excited to see what these brothers are going to bring and those that are going to participate as well. Shalom.
All right. So as of right now, we don't have anybody on unless my phone is a little bit not refreshed. So I'm going to ask the panel members who want to keep it rolling. So, we usually got at least a couple people pop in. They might be going late. What would y'all like to do? Don't all speak up at once.
I mean, we can go. It really don't matter to me. So, we can get the ball rolling, or I don't really have nothing additional to talk about. So,
okay.
For me, I would just say let's get it started, and then as they come in, they come in. I mean, it might be some people listening online. We don't know.
Right. All right, well, we can get the ball rolling unless somebody got some additional information that we want to put out before we keep it going.
I don't have anything. I don't have anything.
All right. Perfect. So, all right. So, I got the first chapter. So, hold on 1 second. Let me turn this wrong real quick. Sorry about that. I'm trying to make sure I got that less noise as possible. All right. All right. 2 Kings 1. This is continuation. We always do going into the next chapter. The biggest thing that I want everybody to know is we've been reading this thing from front to back, and unless I'm making a mistake right now, except for like Genesis 2, it kind of keeps rolling at this point. It doesn't it might bounce back a little bit to give you something else, but for the most part, it lets you know what's happening after certain things. Might not be directly after, but It's not a jump around thing, and that's like one of our main focus about this show, the fact that it doesn't jump around, and we're not trying to jump around. So when we say it's continuing for last, that just means that basically you might have a little gap, but this is the next thing to happen. And also, I want to let any of the listeners know that we're going in chronological order, and in my chronological order, Isaiah is next. And I know in some KJV, what is it, Chronicles or something like that? I haven't looked at it, but I think off the top of my head. Well, isn't it Chronicles?
Let me,
anyway,
I can look at it right now and see what it is.
We'll get to it later or whatever.
I believe it is too. But yeah,
okay.
And different, like more Hebrew-based books, the next one would be Yeshua. So that's what we're going to be reading next. So, yep.
Right. And that's in, in retrospect of how we're doing this thing. So that's how, if anybody's following and listening, and y'all going to wonder, because this is only 25 chapters in this one, we're going to go to Yeshua and, Isaiah after this. But anyway, all right. I'm going to give a couple key points. All right, number one, it says Moab revolted against Israel after the death of Ahab. And Hazayah, I'm reading at the TS 2009, fell through the lattice of his upper room in Shamaron and was injured, and sent messengers and said to him, "Go inquire for Baal Zebub." I wanted to see, was that in the KJV? Did they say Zebub? No, it says Baal Zebub. Okay. All right. I just wanted to check that real quick. Baal Zebub, the mighty one of Ekron, if I shall recover from this injury. So, basically, he falls through this roof. He hurt himself, and he's inquiring of another mighty one. Instantly, already a problem, as we can see. All right? So, I don't want to read this whole thing. So, the next thing that happens, I'm going to kind of give you a summary. Sorry, I can't even catch my words. Like I'm trying to figure out what words to say. All right. So a messenger come and say, "Hey, look, since basically you went and inquired of another God, you're not getting up from this little injury. All right, you're gonna die." And this is a word that came from the Most High. In the TS99 it says messenger. I don't know if it says angel. In KJV, I'm pretty sure one of the brothers probably read in the KJV, but this is the Most High said, right? And so basically the messengers come back and tell, the king what happened. And he asked him, he said, who said it? He gave him a description. He already knew who it was. It was Elijah. Eliyahu. As a TS99 for Elijah, for everybody that knows the names or whatever. And he said, all right, send 50 men. Okay? So he sends 50 men to go, I guess, it doesn't say this, but this is my assumption. I'll just say it's an assumption of mine. I think it's to do him harm. Okay? And I'm going to tell you why I say that, but I could be wrong. I'm pretty sure the other brothers might be able to say something or whatever. But, you don't send 50 men if you just want to come holler at a person. So I figured that, to me, it was to kill him, okay, because of the message that he says. And it's not an odd thing for people to try to kill prophets after they give them a message that they really didn't want to hear. So he told them, if I'm a man of the Most High, like you said it, then let fire come down from the heavens and burn you up, basically. And that's what happened. The one thing that I liked about this, or that I saw about this, was the fact that, first off, he's calling fire from the heavens. I want that instance rings a bell somewhere later. I can't remember right now, but maybe just hold on to this prophet calling fire from the heavens. Okay, and maybe, yeah, that's all I'm gonna say. The thing about another thing that I said, it wasn't the Most High had told him to do it. He was just able to do this because of the authority that he had, like, with the Most High. He said, if I was a man of the Most High, then let fire come down and consume you. I don't see nowhere where it says, and the Most High told him to call down fire upon these people. So a lot of times, we see prophets being told what to do, and the Most High, instructing in this, that, and the other. In this instance, I don't see that. So to me, I've seen some kind of authority that Elijah had, that he understood the situation, and he was able to inquire of the Most High for this to happen, because, of course, it happened to the Most High. All right? So he sent another. They got burnt. I'm summarizing. All right? Then a third came. Now, the third came, and they wasn't going to go like the second one. They said on their knees, as he would say, fell on their knees before Eliyahu and pleaded to him and said, Man of Elohim, please let my life and the life of these 50 servants of yours be precious in your eyes. See, fire has come down from the heaven and burnt up the first two captains of 50s and their 50s, but let my life be precious in your eyes. And the messenger of Yahweh said to Eliyahu, Go down with him. Do not be afraid of him. So he rose and went down with him to the sovereign. All right, and spoke to him, thus says Yahuwah, you have sent messengers to inquire of Baal-zebub, the mighty one of Ekron. Is it because there was no Elohim in Israel to inquire his word? Therefore, you're not going to get out of the bed in which you have gone, and you shall certainly die. And he died according to the word of Yahweh, which Eliyahu has spoken. And this is the prophecy that said, boom, it happened real quick. And Jehoram reigned in his place in the second year of Jehoram, son of Jehoshaphat, sovereign of Yehudah, for he had no son. All right. My chapter's kind of short, but just a couple key points. The Most High had asked, is there no Elohim in Israel? I mean, he knows he's the Elohim in Israel, and he knows the answer to this question. So sometimes you do see the Most High ask questions that he knows the answer to. I know I've seen people say, well, why the Most High ask questions that you not know? That is not the case that he doesn't know. But just like I use it as a parent thing, because I see that that's how he operates as far as being a father. I can hear my daughter doing something. What you doing in there? But I know she's playing in the refrigerator, getting popsicles, whatever she's doing. But I can hear it. You know what I mean? And I'm not the Most High, but I can ask, what are you doing there? And I kind of don't need an answer because I know, but it's just what we do. It just brings me to an instance like the garden, where are you at with Adam and Eve? Right? That's just how I see it. I'm one person. I'm just personally. Not that he couldn't see them. It's not that he didn't know where it was at. It's like a rhetorical question. All right? But that's all I really had as far as just seeing the authority that he had. And I'm going to kind of bring this authority thing up. It's kind of like a setup for something later on. Somebody's going to say something. So that's why I pointed out. And I'm just going to see what the panel members think when I bring it all into fruition. And I'll yield the flow. Whoever wants to take it next, we can go with Yada Yada since he has. No. Shema has the next chapter, so that's how we're going to do it in order. Shema, go ahead and take the next one, of course. Yada Yada for that.
All right. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can.
Yeah, I can hear you perfectly.
Okay. Well, I didn't have too much in this chapter, but I'm glad you brought out verses 10 through 15. I thought that was pretty heavy. We see, like you mentioned, the first two wave of people that he sent, they kind of came with a sense of demanding. And when we are dealing with malachim, messengers of the Most High, we got to understand, for the listeners out there listening, that you are actually technically dealing with the Most High himself. And this is just my thoughts of the situation. I could be wrong. Panelists, correct me if I'm wrong. Those who's listening, correct me if I'm wrong. But the first two came with a sense of demanding. The third wave came with more so of a respect of seeing, first of all, what he did to the first two, but understanding that this man is actually a man of Elohim. So I saw a sense of respect lacked from the first group, not understanding the capacity of the Most High through Eliah or Elijah. And I think when speaking to a man of God as a representative, especially in this case, there's a need of a sense of reverence. And we saw that in the third wave. It's a need of a sense of reverence, and we're seeing a lack of that today. You know, so that's all I got. I was gonna bring a little reality into it, but I think I touched it. You know, so that's all I have for chapter 1, really.
I mean, you were kind of quick, so bring your reality. You know, because it's always good to have a relation of any reality. And
okay.
Understand that you basically did it.
Okay. Let me know if I'm choppy, y'all. I have switched over to the mic because I can't find my earpiece, man.
You're clear right now.
Cool. I don't know. Man, I could use an example that took place just today, man. Somebody had put a post up about basically separating themselves, right? And I actually got blocked, too, for my response. They said something about along the lines of not being with man or around man due to something. I forgot. And I used the scripture that said in the beginning when he said, it is not good for man to be alone. And the whole post just went left. You know, I kind of got attacked, which is okay. And they assumed that I was basically speaking of just husband and wife. But I don't look at that scripture as just that in context. Yes, it was speaking of just that. But when you look at the consistency of how the Most High operates with those of like-mindedness, we see that it is important for us to have, if only two people, people of like-minded. You know, when you separate yourself completely, then you're not even operating in the in what the Most High put in place. So what is my point of saying this? This person told me before responding, I should sit there and pray and make sure that my tongue is being used before speaking, because this is what she meant. And I also told her that I agreed on what she was saying, but I brought a broader aspect. My point is this. Sometimes you don't know the capacity of the person that's delivering the message, and that what happened with these two wave of people is a perfect example. But I believe that we should have a sense of respect of someone, especially that's dealing with the word of the Most High, and kind of see where they're going to confirm if they are who they are. That was my point. I don't know if it makes sense, but that's what I see that it's a sense of reverence. When I'm talking to Yedid Yah, when I'm talking to Orech, when I'm talking to other, I give them that sense of reverence. I believe I do. They can correct me if I'm wrong, but that's what I do, and that's what I think we should do. That's all.
That's good. I want to say something according to that, just to bring, piggyback on it. I agree. I think the way that we deal with each other as a people, we don't know, we all trying to figure out what's right and wrong. And then when you talking to someone or you're having a Facebook comments with someone online, you kind of see it go left real quick. You kind of see people talk crazy to people. I mean, of course, now people not causing down fires through this internet, but in the same term, who knows? You know, I've seen people talk crazy to people online, and the next thing you know, their life is going through shambles. Who knows what this person was really trying to deliver? What if they was delivering a message from the Most High? Allow that to sink in. You know, sit back, take it in, and go to the Most High on your own, and then come back, especially if it's something foreign to you, because it might not be what you're used to, but it still could be the Most High trying to give you a message to someone else. And therefore, when you go against the messenger, you're going against the Most High. I'm using another example in the Bible that we already passed up. Moses, his sister, came to him and said, "Hey, why you messing with this Ethiopian woman?" I think it's an Ethiopian woman. I don't want to be wrong, but it wasn't Israelite. I know that much. I was about to say Cushite, which I probably wouldn't be wrong by saying Cushite either. But, you know, she tried to correct him, and this is a man of the Most High, right? And she got struck with leprosy instantly, right? And had to get, you know, had to have the Most High heal her through Moses, through Moshe, right? So that's the instance where maybe, you know, and it's a possibility. I can't say it's a possibility, but I'm saying in her eyes, Moses is wrong. All right? But she didn't go about it the right way. She tried to check Moses. And in the end of trying to check Moses, because she thought she had some kind of authority to do so, she got struck. Sometimes you got to let the Most High deal with his people too. But the way we handle each other should be one of respect. That's how that's all I want to say about that. That's good stuff that you brought out. I yield the mic. I'll let Yada come in and say, unless you got something else to say.
Oh no, I think we both covered it pretty good. Unless he has something additionally to add.
Nah, y'all brothers good. Y'all hit it, man. And the chapter, like he said, was pretty short. I think y'all hit it all. I would like to possibly elaborate on a few things or caveat on a few things that was brought up. The first one being I think, let's see, when he talked about him inquiring or sending messengers to inquire of Baal Zuv, which is how it would be pronounced in the Hebrew. And if any of y'all have taken a Duolingo and you did the animals part, you know that Zuv is a fly. So the name Baal, I know a lot of people say that Baal is, they only look at it as the proper noun, Baal, as the deity, but Baal is also Hebrew for Lord. So the name Baal Zuv is Lord of Flies. So
Bring it out, Ak. Bring it out.
It's a, you know what I'm saying? It's a story behind that too, because in that region where they are, they're by the water, and you know, a lot of flies circulate around that. If you ever been overseas in the Middle East, there's a lot of flies over there. You know what I'm saying? So in that area where you would think it'll be a lot of flies or whatever, it wasn't. So they felt like it was the Lord of Flies that was keeping the flies down. You know, that's where it really, that's the origin of all that. But moving forward from that,
let me ask you a question though, on the same subject. If you're gonna, I don't know, just real quick about the Lord of Flies. Isn't Beelzebub? Isn't that a word for the Lord of Flies? Because that's why I wanted to know if it was Beelzebub.
Yeah. So the English renderings would be Beelzebub. That's how we pronounce it in the English tongue. But in the Hebrew is Baal Zuv. So, you know, like I said, if you got to the animal part of Duolingo, you'll hear it'll say zoof, and then the translation is fly. You know what I'm saying? So if you got to it, or if you haven't got to it yet, because I know both of these brothers got Duolingo, but whenever you either you're going through your strengthening, you go to the animal, it's either in animal 1 or animal 2. Like, listen, it'll say zoof, which is interesting to me because we know the Hebrew language is a concrete language which goes off of the 5 senses. So what I've noticed, which I'll probably bring this out on our Hebrew show as well, that we plan on doing. But what I notice about the Hebrew is that a lot of it is off of those senses, and you can tell that it's concrete because of a lot of the words. So, like in this case, like a fly, when it fly past you, it's like you hear zoo. You know what I'm saying? So that zoo is, to me, off of the sound. You know what I'm saying? Same thing for the word bottle in Hebrew is bakbuk. Like if you take a bottle and with water in it and you pour it out, it's like bakbuk, bakbuk, bakbuk. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's kind of like what I've been getting from, you know, just studying the language is what I get. It's associated with either what they see, what they hear, taste, feel, whatever. You know what I'm saying?
I also want to add to what you was bringing out with the Baal. As he said, Baal can mean Lord, and we understand that Adon or Adonai is used as that sense as well. But Baal actually also, especially in modern Hebrew, if you were to go over in Israel, they call their husbands Baal or Baali as well too. I just wanted to put that out there. So jump in if y'all want to say anything towards that, but Baal can be referred to as husband as well as Ish. But Ish is more so husband and man. So it's so many different ways contextually when you're speaking that these words can be addressed as in regards to what you're talking about. But for the most part, Baal, that ownership, it kind of relates to an ownership, not saying like ruling in the sense of like I want to say like slave-wise, but we do understand the role of a family, you know, and how the husband is more so the leader, the strength of the family from a Hebraic sense. So I can understand what Baal is, why it's used as husband as well. So do y'all have anything in regards to that?
Yeah, I could add something.
Yeah, I was gonna say something.
This right down my alley. But you know, so it's correct what the brother is saying. Just to take it a step further, is like Baal is, like he said, is Lord. It translates Lord in the language, but it's more so like showing someone of ownership. So, which goes more into the heritage or the culture of the people. So this is where the importance of understanding the culture also come into. So when you look at Baal as ownership, because that's probably the most concrete definition of it is owner. So, and then, you know, you can go into the different realms of what type of owner you are. So when you look at the culture of the Hebrews, the ancient Hebrews, they had to purchase their wife. You know what I'm saying? They either worked for their wife or it was a price that they had to pay for the wife, and then they owned the wife. So that's why, you know, they would, you know, call them Baal, because they actually purchased the wives.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't just like, oh, yeah, I'm about to get this girl, I'm going to marry her, like, and you didn't have to pay your just due. You know, back then it was like, okay, you have to purchase her from her father, basically. And so that's where that comes into play. That's the cultural understanding of why.
Yeah.
You
and
know,
it's a flip side to
they
that,
looked
too.
at it that way.
it's a flip side to that when you think about that, because I want to make sure the women that's listening understand that does not mean like, oh, see, we're just a piece of, something that we're buying, we're slaves or something to them. No, it was a worth too. It was a sense of like you were worth getting. You was worth this. You wasn't just getting me for free. You wasn't giving the goodies for free like we see today, with no men getting women not working for them, not doing like he said. They're I don't even know the word you use, but basically putting in what they had to do to get her. So it was a sense of worth as well. So it's not a bad thing if it's coming off as such.
Right. I wouldn't hope it would come off bad. I mean, like you said, you was worth something to your family. Like, it just shows the family cohesion and the structure and the build. We don't have that no more. It's like you don't value your children. People don't value their children. Your children and your family, like, it was a worth, it was a value, it was heritage. Heritage is they come from the same word as both words come from the same root in the English as inheritance. Inheritance, heritage. You can hear it in the words if you really pay attention. So your children were supposed to inherit something. Your heritage has something to do with inheritance, but we don't have that today, so we really don't have a heritage. You know what I'm saying? But I don't want to go too deep on this because it could really get deep like that. I know O wanted to say something, and then I can continue on the few little points because it wasn't really nothing that I had to say regarding that. I just wanted to highlight something.
Okay, they really just kind of knocked that out the park as far as the Baal part. And I just want to say from a perspective before I started studying Hebrew that I always saw Baal as some kind of deity, you're talking about some years ago too, but some kind of negative thing. You know what I'm saying? I couldn't even tell you right now at this point where I got it from. But sometimes when you might see Baal, a lot of times people are linking that word to something negative. I've also seen as far as like Baal is translated as Lord, but then you have some people out there saying, oh, don't say Lord because Baal was a deity. Okay?
Right.
So they're like, you don't want to say Lord because you're really calling on the deity of Baal. But that's uneducated at the time. You know what I mean? Because, I've seen little memes and heard people say it, and it'll kind of get you if you don't really go into the Hebrew. When you start really understanding what Baal means, you understand it means husband in modern day and Lord. It's not a negative connotation, and it does not necessarily mean the deity. Unless it's expressed toward that deity, this is what context is key. You can't use the same word and say, oh, this word is just all the way across the board. And that's just out of ignorance we do it, but, even that ignorance can throw someone way off in their whole understanding. That's all. And I yield the flow to, nobody else has nothing to say, Shema got the next chapter, so I'm done until I get to my point here.
I just want to finish out what I was saying because I kind of stopped because we kind of went off into the whole Baal thing. But what I was trying to bring forth really was just or highlight what the brother was saying is how he sent, the messengers out to inquire of Beelzebub or Baal-Zuv. And so this was basically as if, he was denying, Yah, who's supposed to be, or as the brother said, who knows that he is the El of Yisrael. And so, this fact was displayed in the question that was brought forth through the
messenger, or through, I know it says in the KJV, the angel, but there's no definite article there. So me personally, I would translate it as an messenger, or a messenger or an angel, not the angel of Yah. But that's just me. So the question was posed, this is coming straight from the KJV, I'm quoting directly from that. Is it not because there is not a God in Israel that ye go to inquire of Beelzebub, the god of Ekron? So what I got from it was more so just like, the Most High was considered that as an insult, and the punishment from that was that the message that was given, which said that he would surely die or he would not recover from it. And so, that was kind of like, to me, the punishment of it, like, okay, you didn't want to inquire of me, you trying to go send your people to go inquire of this idol. So guess what? You're not going to recover. That's the answer. And we saw that come to pass in verse 17. But that's all I wanted to bring out or highlight. You got it, Shema.
All right. So moving along, in chapter 2, we're seeing, I don't know, we see, this is going back to that respect thing I was speaking on in a previous chapter. Even though this is a different scenario, we still see how those that were, I guess you could say, disciples or Talmidim, students of their predecessors or students of their teachers, Moreh or Morim, so, Moreh, Morah, Morim, they had a closeness, a very close relationship, very high regards of reverence, respect to them. And we're coming along a time where Elijah or Elisha was about to depart from Elisha or Elisha. So verse 1, it says, it happened when Yah, or he who causes to exist, took Elisha or Elijah up to heaven in the whirlwind. Elisha went from from Gilgal. Elisha said to Elisha, please stay here, for Yah has sent me to Bethel. But we see again, as I was speaking of, this closeness, and we tend to see that. We're going to continue to see that the teachers that had these students, or the people that had these followers, did not want to let go of them. They wanted to be around them at all costs because they understood the connection they had with he who causes to exist, the Creator. I wouldn't want to let them go either if I knew off bat, that I was in cahoots or in connection with someone that had this divine connection to the one that created everything. And that's what we're seeing with Elisha. Verse 3, it says, the prophet's disciples who had been in Bethel came out to Elisha and said to him, did you know that today Yah is taking your master from upon your head? Now, his response was, he said, I know also, be silent. I'm not reading from the KJV, by the way, just those, if you're wondering what I'm reading from the Stones edition. But he said, I know also. So he knows as well, be silent. You don't got to put that in my face. And I only can see that as though that's what they were doing by his response. That's the best way I can look at this. His response gives off or conveys to me that they were kind of like throwing it in his face. I'm not sure at this point. But when we go down, we see going all the way down to go down to verse 7. I want to go down to verse 7 because this happened a couple of times, and he basically told them to be silent. He know already, but he's going to continue to do what he's doing. So he said, I swear as Yah lives and by your life that I shall not leave you. Because at this point, verse 6, it says, Eliah then said to him, please stay here, for Yah has sent me to the Jordan, or the Jordan. And he said, I swear as Yah lives and by your life that I shall not leave you. Goes into what I'm saying already about the wanting to stay close. So they both went. He didn't deny him that, he's letting them know that he's about to be on a different journey. But why deny someone that wants to be a part of something great, especially when it has to do with the Most High? And I could see why Eliah did not push them to the side for that. So verse 7 says, 50 men of the prophet's disciples went standing opposite them at a distance, and the two of them stood at the Jordan. And I like verse 8 because this shows the consistency of how the Most High can operate through his malachim, his messengers. It didn't stop with just Moshe. So the magnificence and the power within the Most High, His Spirit, if it's placed on others, which it is, other than the ones that we hold high, like the Moshes and like the Dawid and like the Daniels or Daniel, we hold these people high, but it goes along with every messenger that operates within the understanding or the wisdom of the Most High that was that He put in place to do these things. It happens. So that's what we're about to see right here in verse 8. Eliah took his mantle and folded it over and struck the water. Who does it sound like? Which split apart this way and that. So it pushed it apart in opposite directions, and they both crossed over on dry land. This is in the same thing that took place with Moshe. Okay, with Moses. Where am I at? As they were crossing, Eliah said to Elisha, request what I should do for you before I am taken away from you. Now we all know if you are a student of someone, a follower of someone, what the request is going to be. You're a student of them for a reason. You want to gain their understanding, their knowledge, their wisdom, their connection with the Creator, with the one that you are seeing is working through them. You want that same thing if you're a student. So his question did not surprise me, as I know it didn't surprise you all. He says, may twice as much as your spirit be mine. I want a double portion of what you got. I need that. And that's what we see that Elisha really wanted from him. So when you go down to verse 12, this is when we see that Elijah is about to take off, and we see Elisha was watching and shouted, Father, Father, Israel's chariot and horsemen. Who was he calling father, by the way? He was calling Eliah father, was he not? I just want to put that out there. That wasn't his actual father, right? Where am I at? Okay, and then he saw him no more. He took hold of his garments and rent them into two pieces. Okay, now, at this point, you got a sense of, man, was my request granted? I understand what he said would happen, but is my request granted? So I got to do something to test it, right? Verse 13, he picked up Eliah's mantle, which had fallen from him, and he returned and stood at the bank of the Jordan. He took Eliah's mantle, verse 14, which had fallen from him, and struck the water and said, where is Yah, the Elohim of Eliah? He too struck the water, and it split apart this way and that way, and Elisha crossed over. So we know that spirit that he requested, that same divine connection that Elisha had. He had a piece of that within himself, and he was able to perform the very thing that not only Elisha performed, but the very thing that Moshe performed. Maybe not on a larger scale like Moshe, but it was still done in the same fashion. Hence, showing the consistency of how the Most High operates within his malachim, those that are truly operating as such. So I want to go down to, no, we can keep reading. I really want to point out verse 17 and 18. So what I do, I won't even read it. I'm going to, when you jump down to verse, let's jump down to verse 16. Because we see that they saw what he had performed. And sometimes even when people see what you perform, they still have this doubt in you. You know, they still have this disbelief of you being who you actually are. And they have and with that disbelief, it's still like a wall up, you know, of them not wanting to fully listen to you. So verse 16 says, they said to him, behold, among your servants there are 50 able-bodied men. Let them go and search for your master. Perhaps a spirit of Yah has carried him off and hurled him onto one of the mountains or one of the valleys. When people get a sense of ownership of you, then they want to be the ones to not fully just take your leadership. They want to be the ones to be in control, in charge. After you just seen the works of the Most High through this man, you still want to be the one to dictate a move. We can't do that. Sometimes we got to be silent. He was telling them from the beginning to be silent. From the beginning of this chapter, be silent. They can't even do that. They see what happened, but they got to say something. So the end of verse 16, he tells them, do not send them. But they badgered him, verse 17, until it was embarrassing to refuse. So they doing all this. He didn't know what. Go ahead, man, because y'all going nuts. This is embarrassing. So he said, go ahead, send them. They sent 50 men who searched for 3 days but could not find him. They returned to him. He was staying in Jericho, and he said to them, did I not say to you, do not go? So sometimes you have to let people see for themselves, you know, what you had tried to tell them in the first place. But what we got to realize is everyone's level of wisdom and discernment isn't equal. It is not equal, everybody. Just because we see people that are a part of a body of believers does not mean that everyone's wisdom and discernment and even integrity is equal. So by them seeing that what they wanted to do did not take place, and he told them from the beginning, this was a confirmation for them to see that what it is you're presenting. You know, well, so that maybe what you thought was wrong. Maybe you should do what I said from the beginning and be silent, let me lead. I told you this. So he kind of like threw it in their face in a sense, right? All right, so I want to jump down to the last point I want to bring out, because my chapter is not long, is verses 23 through 24. And I think this will be interesting for some of y'all. Verse 23 says, he went up from there to Bethel. As he was going up on the road, some young, now in the KJV, I believe it said, correct me if I'm wrong, y'all, it says little children, perhaps? Okay, so if it says little children, okay, good. I'm glad to say that. It says little children. I'm just going to throw that in my translation, and I'm going to read it, continue with my translation. So it says, some little children came out from the city and mocked him, saying to him, go on up, bald head. Go on up, bald head. Verse 24, he turned around and saw them and cursed them in the name of Yah. 2 bears then came out of the forest and tore apart 42 of the last. Now, here we go. I want to bring out a couple things really quick. So I remember someone trying to talk to me in regards. He was borderline atheist, I believe, and it was things that he didn't agree with in the scriptures based off of things he read. He didn't go contextually like we're doing now. And he was like, how can the Most High allow this? And we went through it. He brought out a lot of different points, and I answered every last point of them and gave him some context behind it. At the end of the conversation, he was like, you know what? I got to study better. I say, yeah, because what you're doing, you're basing your understanding off of the modern understanding of the scriptures, what's being taught today. So I want to start off with 2 different things. I want to talk about the little children part, and then I want to talk about the cursing, and then the bears. I don't know how it reads in KJV. I think it says, it says in Torah, I believe. So just tearing them up or whatever. So let's go to 23 real quick. So little children. I put something that, I'm going to make a video about this one day, but it's a lot of instances with the word katan. Okay. Which can be referenced to small, can be referenced to little, can be referenced to a few things like that. But that was actually attributed to actually cities and towns and things like that within the scripture. So we know those cities and towns aren't technically small or little, right? We associate this little with little kids when it says little children, but we understand that the Most High called grown men these things as well in Israel. So I believe that KJV did not render this properly. The word for children here, because children should be, if I'm not mistaken, correct me if I'm wrong, Yeledim. But this word is not Yeledim. It is Ne'arim. Okay? And when you go to this word, it actually is men. The root is Na'ar. So, little men or it's more so talking about young men. So these aren't kids. These aren't children. This is why I always promote, and Yedidiah promotes, and Orech promotes. Anyone that goes in his talk once promotes learning a little bit of Hebrew, or at least looking into the words that you're reading. So Nahar is the word for this children, which we know that children in the sense of little children should be Yeledim or not Yeled is boy. So Yeledim, children. Okay. The next part I want to bring out is, well, the question was asked, how can he allow this to happen? Now, first of all, you're dealing with a town in which it was the basis of it was more so idolatry, if I'm saying that properly. Okay, but going to the bear part, this does not say that the bear killed all of them. It just said it tore them, it ripped them up, right? So let's go to this word real quick, and then I'm done after this, y'all. I'm going to pass the floor to the panelists or anybody that's listening, have anything to say. So tore, we're going to go here. Can mean split, it can mean break, it can mean breached. You know, it could just be a scratch. We hear a lot of instances today. Let's bring reality into it, you all. We hear bear attacks. We hear animal attacks. Do it always end up in death? No, it does not. And the scripture right here does not even say anything about them dying or getting killed. It just said that they were attacked by 2 bears and they tore them. Could have ripped their skin, could have scratched them, could have hurt them, brutally hurt them bad, but it did not say kill them. So it could have very well just been a punishment for what that took place with Elisha. And with that, I yield.
Very good stuff, brother. You brought some very good stuff out. And I haven't read the KJV version in a minute before I pass the floor to Yedidiah. Does it say in KJV that he killed them? Because I know it says tore in the ISR, but in his version it says tore. Does it say killed in KJV?
It just say tear 40 and 2 children of them.
Well, actually, the ISR says tore to pieces. So I guess we will have to figure out, you know what I'm saying? Because, like, this is what we're doing also. We're trying to figure out why people are putting words in or not putting words in. So if mine says tore to pieces, that's more than just
You know, I'm laughing because, I mean, it's just crazy. You know, I'm not, so don't take the laughter wrong. It's just, you know, the way the brother is saying it. And I can just look at the different, like, I imagine as I'm listening to the different renderings. You know what I'm saying?
Let me ask y'all a question. Have y'all seen the movie? Have y'all seen the movie with Leonardo DiCaprio? He was in the and did you see his body? His body was torn up, like really, like tore up. He was still alive, and there's actually instances, everyone is listening, of people that go through that or went through that in our modern world with these bears and stuff, and they still live. Their skin was literally torn to pieces. They didn't die, and this isn't to say that these people died or didn't die. This is just to say it does not say they died. You know, it's just saying, and to paint a good picture is that movie. That movie is the most perfect example I could give you. That bear tore that man up. Skin was ripped.
I mean, I remember on what was that thing called? It was like a little TV sitcom. It had Common in there. Hell on Wheels. He got mauled by a bear, and he lived. And the Indians took him in, but he kind of like lost his mind though. So he was told, if you want to, you know, look at that sense. But I get what you're saying. Like, it's kind of like eisegesis, you know what I'm saying, to say that they died. The scripture don't specifically say that. So that's more so of eisegesis. You're assuming that they died. You know what I'm saying? It'd be more safe to just say what it say.
Amen.
You know, but if they did die, then, I mean, they died, but you know what I'm saying?
Right, exactly.
You can't pinpoint and say, yeah, they died, because the scripture don't tell you that.
That's all
my only point with it is, you know, because it doesn't say that they died, and don't say that. My point is, we argue over smaller details like this, right? But look how a translation can change your observation. All right? I like that. I might keep that. Translation change your observation. Because if I'm reading mine, I say tore to pieces, I'm not thinking you scratched me a couple times, bit me. You tore me to pieces. I'm thinking an arm over here, leg over here. And this is the way my mind perceives pieces. But if I was to hit you, if a bear was to just hit your arm, pieces would fly off of you.
Yes, sir.
Period.
Yes, sir.
If it was just to take your arm or your leg off, that is torn to pieces, and you don't have to die. Okay.
You got a couple pieces off that body, boy.
Exactly. So, you know, just wordplay. But my biggest thing is, get back into the, you know, to translate it for yourself and stuff like that. But my biggest thing also is, don't get too caught up on the super itty bitty small and fight over whether or not these people died or not. Like he said, so somebody say, oh yeah, well, you can actually say, well, it don't really say they died, so you can't make that assumption. And you know, they could this is exactly how it would happen. They would pull up this, you know, they pull up that, they'll find a translation Or their translation might say died. Their translation might say torn to pieces. Like, well, they was torn to pieces. Then you was like, well, the same thing I just said. And in their mind, they won't be able to grasp it because not only do they want to be right, but that's the only way they could see torn to pieces. I could see it both ways, but when I first originally read it, torn to pieces, okay. The way my mind dissected it was they was in pieces, 42 of them, scattered body parts, everybody dead. Now, Shema brings up his way, and now I'm like, oh, and see, that's just the respect that I have for the man studying, that I can listen to him, and that's if we can actually do that as a people. Listen more.
I like how you brought that back full circle. I like how you did that. Mm-hmm.
You dig what I'm saying? But if we could do that, we listen and observe and, hey, you know what? I see what you're saying. You know what? I got you. You know what I'm saying? Like, I understand. Now, it's a gray area, right? A gray area like we talked about. Jay, when we was talking about this first year, I don't want to say day one. I might be wrong, but within the first year, the first month, we was talking about gray areas. This is one of those, don't say killed, don't say they wasn't killed. Who cares? At the end of the day, if you was being judged, the Most High ain't going to say, you know, you ain't really get whether or not them kids was tore up in 2 Kings 2. You going to get punished for that. You know what I'm saying? Whatever the case may be, however you feel your judgment is going to go, it's not going to be dependent on you not knowing whether or not these young youth was killed or not. So
I want to add to that too.
Aspects of it. Yeah, go ahead.
I want to add real quick. What he's saying, 100% true. Everyone. I just wanted to. The reason I had brought it up too, and this is not like me just trying to, but the reason I brought it up was like remember I was telling y'all the atheists. I think that, like he said, if we could sit here and hear each other's views, that atheist that I talked to, me and him had a great discussion. We talked for about 2 hours on every topic he had a question about. And he didn't. It's not that he took what I said as truth, but what he took it as like, you know what, this, like Orek just said, I see this view. And the crazy thing about it is, what we try to do in the show is we don't try to give, if we say it's our opinion or whatever, we're going to say that. What we try to do is just take what is actually presenting and saying contextually, contextually, consistently, and culturally. And what I did with the atheist is it allowed him to maybe, you know what, I need to restudy this, evaluate. This probably could have helped pull him back towards the Most High. And I think by us doing what O was saying, when we so combative, not trying to hear each other, and I'm not trying to take this a different way, but this show is reality, like as you did, y'all always say, so we want to make sure we can talk like this as well. If we can talk correctly with one another, those is looking from the outside looking in, be like, you know what, I want to research more of this because both of these guys and women had good views. Neither one of them was wrong in context of the scripture, but now it's going to put me in a place to want to, I don't know, just get closer with the scriptures or the culture or the Most High. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I wanted to bring out, how the book does not say this, and this can actually help somebody be like, you know what, man, he allowed bears to kill them. I don't want to serve a God like that. He let him kill little children. And it's not little children, it's young, it's basically older, not elder men, but young men. Some people call me a young man, and I'm 33. Some people call somebody 26 a young man, and he's 26, but he's still a man. So by us presenting this and revealing this, it can take that little preservation in their mind of, I ain't dealing with that, because they're going to allow that to happen. But if they have a little bit of facts or factual information that is opposing what they were taught, it can change it. And kind of like one last thing I'm going to say is Orek just said, I think you said, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't know, like what my mind just automatically sees. This is what I think you said, automatically sees when I hear that. Now, I'm glad he said that because the basis of this show is what?
to have no preconceived notions, right? Why are we thinking the way we think? Because it was embedded in us when we were taught before this. I'm done. That's all I wanted to bring out.
I'm gonna let Jedediah go ahead in because he's the next person, but just the different views. That's all I'm just pointing out. The different views, and this is what this show is about. We bring in. We got 3 different views, 3 different ways, and we enlighten each other. And that's why we say, we here to fellowship. And this is one of the reasons why we have this open forum.
Amen.
We usually have, when we first started, I know Brother Jeff can't be here all the time. He's very busy. But Brother Jeff was a major contributor when he was on with his views. And Brother Mercy, even though sometimes he's left field, he's a major contributor with his views at times. You're like, wow, this, that, and the other. And that goes along for anybody else. That's why we encourage people to come in, because we're not going to be over here arguing with you on unless you just said something erroneous, but we're not going to argue on you over your view because it don't say
That's
something.
Right.
And the way that you bring in your view could clear up another point in the scripture and make it contextual and make things fall together, if that makes sense, because it might make another scripture make sense because of your view. So this is what we have to start doing, being able to sit down and link up. Right? Just for people that's online, I encourage you to be online. But you thinking out there also, and you having views, that's why we put out all these avenues of communication. Communicate with us and say, hey, the scripture, blah, blah, blah. I always thought of it like this. Could that be something else? And you know what? That matches Genesis. Just something like that. But that's all. And I'm going to give it the flow to Jedediah so he can, do his thing.
I appreciate it, brother. Brother Shemai really brought that out. I'm going to see if I can follow with a few different things that he didn't go in depth on as he did with the whole the bear situation. So first thing I wanted to do is talk about this double portion of spirit. He brought it out, but I wanted to kind of express what it did for me. It kind of made me think about the account of Numbers or Bamidbar 11 and 25, which speaks of the time where Yah took the spirit that was on Moshe or Moses and gave it to the 70 elders. So this is not something new that we saw, in this instance, but the key thing is just kind of understanding what this actually means concerning the spirit, which we've seen, is different ways of looking at certain words when they're used in a certain context. Not going to really go into it too much, but just, that's just something that I was looking at. I don't know if anybody else looked at it. But what I wanted to really look at is,
well, brother.
Let me pull. Huh?
I was just making a little, well, brother, I think you be trying to set me up, but I gotta, I got
well, you can go, you can speak if you want to.
No.
You can jump in right there.
Well, you know what? That might even make it better because I ain't got to talk about it after it come up, because I had that highlighted also, and I think y'all just be knowing me so much, because he be saying stuff and then he like stop, and I'm like, oh, you leave it to me, huh? And that's how I be feeling, because he be on stuff. All right, this is not a uncommon thing like he said, and that was just one thing that I was going to bring out. That we have to realize also. Well, I'm going to go to the exit. I'm going to read it how it's worded in TSR. No, tell you what I say. I don't know. Let's scroll down to this. I'm tripping. What verse is that? Came to pass. Okay. Boom. let me get a double portion of the Spirit to be upon me. And he said, you have made it hard. Yet, if you see me when I am taken from you, it is yours. But if not, it is not. I promise that's all I kind of got, man. I was like kind of tripping because I thought it was an extra verse in there somewhere where he said something like, I really don't have the power to do that, but maybe I read a whole different version back in the day. So I remember this account, but it don't say none of it in this instance. He kind of just gave him confirmation. All right. So I'm not going to go down because the other verse that I was going to link it to is down, but all I'll say is people coming in the spirit of somebody was not a slack thing, and it didn't mean it wasn't that person, okay, because the 70 elders was not Moses, and Elisha is not Elijah, okay? So, but is it really that person's spirit? No. Whose spirit is it? And I think the verses down kind of, you know what I'm saying, bring out a little bit more. So I'll stop right there like that. But a lot of people getting hung up on words, and we have to, like you say, see what we have consistently. It was the Most High Spirit, and then when it went on there, and then go to Samuel, and they was trying to go down there and kill David. Actually, Saul's people was trying to go kill David. If y'all been following us, you know what I'm talking about. And the spirit that was on Samuel had them people prophesying just like the times of Moses. You feel me? And they was coming down there to do bodily harm to someone. This was a takeover of the spirit, okay? Now, here's Elijah able to, he's done some things before this, but here we go, it's time. And he's asking for more of the Most High, you know what I'm saying, on him than you got. That's what he's really asking. Because whose spirit is it? Okay? So I just want to kind of point that out because later on, like we're rolling into Isaiah, we're going to come into some prophecies, and from here on, it's about to go down. So I'm setting some things up because I need people to understand this word play, okay? So we can get some understanding of some things. And that's all I'm going to say about the spirit right now because it's some verses down that kind of correlate.
Hey, go
Thank
ahead.
Thank you for giving me a little piece of your time.
Go ahead and go
ahead
down real quick because I'm trying to pull something up real quick.
Okay.
And go on and finish your point out on that.
Okay, and then in 15, the sons of the prophet who were with Yeriel saw, and they said, the spirit of Elijah rests on Elisha. And they came to meet him and bowed to the ground before him. Now, that would be like a form of worship if y'all want to. That's like we beating a dead horse. Okay? But they seen that the spirit of the Most High was on them, and they come down and bow before this dude. We would look at that in our culture and be like, you crazy now. That wasn't where my point was at, but it just was right there. All right. Okay, 16. And they said, look, there are 50 strong men with your service. Please let them go and search for the master, lest the spirit of Yahweh has taken them up and cast them with somebody, blah, blah, blah. But we know what I'm saying is, now here go the people talk about that's the spirit of Elijah, but we know who spirit is. Point blank period. We've seen it in previous things. These people are not operating in their own spirit, and that's a whole nother story. People feel like their spirit is so linked with the Most High, well, they just don't do what they want to do. If that was the case, Saul wouldn't have just got knocked off for doing and the spirit rested on him. So all the way through here, we have the spirit of the Most High doing these things, so it's nothing slack. And now these people are calling it the spirit of Elijah. So, like I say, just hold on to that. I can't give out too much. I'm doing real well in that area. But now check how they talk. From what I'm seeing is, I've never really seen them kind of referred to like that, but what I'm seeing is like an evolution in a little bit the way they speaking, because we got some time passing too. So if you hear this, it's the same as something else. And that's what I'm saying. I can't. I'm so eager to say so much, but I can't. So yeah, that's really what I was trying to point out with the spirit and the name, blah blah blah. And I don't even know if he was going that way with it totally, but me, I be feeling like getting into things that I read before, and I'm trying not to. So you take the flow.
All right.
Cool. If I keep talking, boy, we're going to be in a whole nother book. No, that's all.
All right, cool. So I got what I needed. All right, so another thing I wanted to bring up, just going into the language a little bit, as Brother Shema did, is when we look at the phrase in the KJV, it says, let me go to the KJV. The KJV, it says, Elijah went up by a whirlwind into heaven. All right, a lot of times, when we see that word heaven, it's straight up there where the Most High is at, or whatever the case may be. So, in the Hebrew, it says, just that last little portion of it, it says, Bash'ara Hashamaim. So that would actually translate. You got that prefix, the bait prefix, which is where you get ba, and then the shara is the whirlwind that it's talking about, and then you got the definite article. Hey, so that's the heaven or heavens, because we know there's no singular or plural rendition. It has the "im" suffix. So you could look at it as heavens, or you could look at it as heaven, as one single unit with different levels of it, so to say. So this also translated sky. So you could look at it as saying, in the Hebrew, Eliyahu was taken up into the heavens or the sky. It doesn't say he went to where the Most High was. It don't say that he went in the sky. It don't say that, but what we have to stop doing is placing stuff there that's not there. Now, you can have your opinion. You can say, yeah, he went up to heaven where the Most High was. That's your opinion, though. That's not fact.
Mm-hmm.
Or you could say, oh, he just went up in the sky and was relocated somewhere else. Or which I'm going to get to, you don't know where he went. Because
you just brought something to my mind.
If you keep going down, it said a whirlwind too. You know what I'm saying? A gust of wind, like a tornado could have came and sucked him up. You don't know what happened.
And that's the best way they can describe it. Mm-hmm.
Right, the best way because they probably didn't know they didn't have a term that identified a tornado. So to them, flashing light came down because they talking about chariots of fire, because before a tornado hit, you see lightning too.
Mm-hmm.
Man could have got straight sucked up in a tornado. You don't know.
True.
You know what I'm saying? So what we then look at is, what I can say is that after that, in context, we see that they wanted to go look on the mountain and in the valley to see where this man went to. But they couldn't find him. So at the end of the day, they don't know where this man went to. That's the fact.
That's right.
Now, your imagination can tell you whatever it want to tell you. and I'm not going to fight you on your imagination. But what I'm going to tell you is that is not what the scriptures say.
Right.
It say he was taken up into the sky or the heavens. Because I'm pretty sure at a certain distance into the sky, they stopped seeing this man. So how could they literally see him go up into heaven? They didn't see that. There's no what possible way that they saw that. So all they can say is that this man got sucked up in a whirlwind and went up in the sky. That's all I saw. And that's all I'm going to say. That's all I'm going to say that happened. I can't say that. You know, okay. Let me finish because I ain't got much left.
I was going to say, we're going to let him go through his thing. And I just want to touch on it before we let Brother Mercy in. So I'm going to let him in.
Okay.
Go ahead.
All right. And so I just wanted to make a point of that. I ain't gonna really hit what I would say is that when they wanted to go, when they wanted to go look for him, like Elisha didn't want him to those individuals to go send out a search party, you know, but he ultimately gave in after they just kept on being persistent about it. But then when they couldn't find him, he said, look, I told you not to go look. You know, so it's kind of one of them things, like the brother said, it's a gray area. So for me, I'm only going to tell you what scriptures say. Now, if you want to say he went up in heaven, you could say that. You know what I'm saying? If you have other documents, you know, historical documents or ancient writings that tells you that, yeah, he went up in heaven, that's fine. You know what I'm saying? That's cool. You know, I'm not going to fight you on it, but I'm just telling you what we reading right here. That's what it say. You know, whether you reading in English or when you break it down in the Hebrew, that's what it's saying. So same situation with the bear thing. You know, and then another thing I wanted to say, the brother brought out with the father. Now, I don't know if he was calling him father or whatever. I don't know. But it's interesting when you was talking about also about the children and stuff like that. And, you know, saying that this doesn't say these are little kids, like little bitty kids. So also we see a phrase in there that says sons of the prophets. If you read in the KJV, I don't know what it's saying in the other versions, but it says the sons of the prophets. So you thinking like, okay, these are little kids of the prophets, but if you look, you don't even got to go to the Hebrew. Like in English, the denotation of the word son is anything that. Hold on, let me pull this up real quick. Give me 1 second. All right, so the product of anything. So if these prophets are understudies of other prophets, just like Elisha is the understudy of Eliyahu, then I could see him calling him father. You know, because he is a product of that prophet. He's his understudy. Just like, I mean, that's why it's important to know words has more than one connotation to it. It has a denotation, but then it has a connotation to it too. So even like when you go back to, it also could mean that it holds the characteristic of something, just like sons of Belial. Belial ain't even a real person. You know, at first, before I started getting into this, I thought that was like they was really sons. Like, who is Belial? Like, we ain't heard of him. You know what I'm saying? Like, where he come from, who he descend from. Before I knew what that Hebrew word means, it means wickedness or worthlessness. So they are either, you could say they're a product of wickedness or worthlessness, or you could say they hold the characteristic of wickedness or worthlessness. So that's all I really wanted to say. I render the flow.
Man, I'm mad when I can't take my phone off of mute quick enough. My bad, it took me so low. I be feeling like Shema sometimes. But, okay. He said a lot, and that was some great stuff. And since he done did such a good job, I'm just going to touch on it so we can get off of it as far as my point in relation to what he's already saying. Okay. So, there we go. That was a good thing about Sons of the Prophets. I want to start there because I didn't even think of it like as characteristics of the prophets, the products of the prophet. So it could be, like you just said, the sons of Belial. They're not a Belial. They're not that's not an actual person. Okay. Now that we've been getting advanced in the Hebrew language, man, some of them terms in Genesis is just like amazing right now. That's the crazy thing about learning this and going on a progression. But I'm not even going to get into that because all I say is if you two brothers or anybody on the line is studying Hebrew, if y'all ain't been back to Genesis and start breaking some of that stuff down, it makes a lot more sense even on a scientific level. And that's how advanced the Hebrew is. It even gives you that type of breakdown. It's really like amazing, for real. All right. Okay. Now, one thing that anybody saying about that I was talking about earlier that I needed to correlate with this, I'm getting to my point, is in verse 20. And he said, bring me a new bowl and put it in, and they brought it to him. Okay, let me give you some context. All right, and the men of the city said to Elijah, look at the sight of this city is good. My master sees, but the waters are spoiled and the soil barren. All right, so that's the problem. I highlighted 20 because that's where 20 and 21, but here's 20. And he said, bring me a new bowl and put salt in it, and they brought it to him. And he went out to the source of the water and threw salt in it and said, thus says Yahweh, I have healed this water. No longer shall death or barrenness come from it. I ain't heard nothing where the Most High told him to do this. Okay? And that's what I was saying about earlier. I'm seeing wrong, or what I'm seeing is, if you remember, like, beforehand, they might have been like, and thus says the Most High, and it always will tell you the Most High told these people to go take some salt, put it in a bowl, and go throw it in the water, like you would hear that. But in this, it didn't say nothing about he did that. And then he just said, thus says Yahweh, I have healed with this water. Now, maybe I'm tripping, but that's like using the Most High, like knowing that who you are and using that authority to do stuff because you're in connection to that spirit. Maybe I'm on some extra spiritual stuff right now. So bear with me on this one. You feel me? Because you know how I be. But if I get too long-winded, let me know. I don't see like I say, I don't see them getting the instruction. I think there's like already knowing what needs to be done somewhat, but they're doing things and the Most High is backing them up. Let me just say that. So they're not out of order because they living right or they doing what they supposed to be doing. So when they feel it's a good thing to heal this land, the Most High is granting that. And he's using the Most High's name. Now that's the name above all names, but we're not going to get into that because you can't do things by certain names. Don't be swearing by his name falsely. You can't. If you was a prophet and you spoke by his name, you were to die. And you was false. So it's a big thing to put this name out there and start doing some things. Because if you not backed up, there was some penalties behind that too. So it's a lot of stuff so. Man, just to see the frivolousness of how people are acting like they prophets online and stuff like that, it sounds crazy on the aspect of what it really was back then. How precious it was just to be a prophet, you had to be right. I'm talking about if you wrong. And if you're not a prophet and you out here putting out prophecies that you feel like the Most High gave you revelation, don't he just give it to the prophets and give it to the people? Now, this is something that's going on Facebook nowadays. Everybody's predicting the end of the earth. It's crazy. They're popping out of nowhere because of a solar eclipse. Now, okay, I'm going to get off of that because I'm trying to, open up time. The whirlwind thing, things that he was touching on. I just imagine, like he said, they don't have too much to say. So he goes in the sky. He's not to be found, like he said. Who knows what happened to him? How do we know if he died or he didn't die? Because if I'm telling a story like he said, that's all you see. Where is somebody else going to give me any more to that story than is already there? They didn't say he didn't die. Say he was taken up. The mantle dropped, he was taken up, like he say. You look up, you don't see him no more. They searched. I'm not saying he did die. This is something, whatever. But where's the new information? We got to start getting that if it's going to be something to come out down the line. All right? Because under my understanding, everybody going to die. Now, you know what I'm saying? Or everybody dies eventually. Even the ones that lived a long time ago. Well, we have a story about Enoch, too. I guess we got to, let's say this Hebrew thing, we got to go back. Start lining some of this stuff up. Because I know in Jasper it say Enoch died, so we got to see, that might be a false translation, right? And what doesn't see depth? It's so much up under this that we got to really start unscaling, and that's basically, what we're saying about this Hebrew stuff. It gets deeper. And it's not to sway someone's mind. There's something else that you said. My phone straight went out of the doggone thing. All right. I'm sorry, my phone went and did its own thing. When I looked down on it, I wasn't supposed to be on my phone. I was supposed to be on my book or whatever, but whatever. Got to look for my highlights. All right, sorry. Oh, that's all I'm going to say about that. And then 24, this is my last point. He turned around and looked at them and pronounced a curse on them in the name of Yahuwah, the two female bears. Okay, I'm not getting on the tore to pieces part. I'm saying, and now they was mocking this man, and he turned around and cursed them in the name of the Most High. So, am I tripping? Maybe y'all, am I tripping when I'm seeing some different type of authority? Like, I don't know. See, Moses was a little timid with this thing. Elijah cursing you and healing, like, you know what I'm saying? Moses was like, give him another chance. Look at you know what I'm saying? He struck that rock and talked to it, and next thing you know, he can't make it to the promised land. Am I the only one that because I had them highlighted. Am I tripping? before and I'm done. Y'all see the difference like I see the difference. Because I know nobody talked about it. I thought Shamar would have got into it. Anybody. So.
That's a good observation right there. Right now, I don't have anything for it, but that's a good observation. Yeah, I don't have anything for that. That's good. That's good stuff.
I don't know, when I say am I tripping, like, have we seen anybody operate like this before? Or are they deciding not, what is like y'all take on it? They decide not to put that the Most High said it or did it because they assume that you should know by this point? Or is he really walking around like, the Most High said healed, this land is healed? You cursed it by the name of the Most High. Things is happening, though. So I'm not saying he's wrong or nothing, because the Most High is with him. Well, I kind of say that to say this. A lot of times we waiting for things to happen, and maybe we need to start putting that thing in action. He just being with us.
That's a good point.
What I'm saying
especially
by that
if you
is
know
strategically,
that you
right.
Oh. I'm about to say, especially
No,
if you know that
ahead.
you're doing what, especially if you know that you're doing, working according to how he wants you to work.
Right.
So that's a good point right there. Actually, before doing this today with y'all, I was thinking about that. That's a good point right there.
And that's kind of like, I was like, y'all didn't comment on it when I was just saying, do y'all kind of see the difference? Are we get to the point where we need to just, like make our plan, start the motion, and he back it? Because he, if we on one accord to say, hey,
Yeah, me personally, like I agree with it. Like I just believe that, it's a lot of stuff that we sit back and we wait for, like, we wait for something miraculous that is not really cause for a miracle, so to say. It just calls for us to get up and move. He already basically set it up. He already said, I'm with you. Like, at that point, you go. Unless it's something you're unsure of. Then you go to the Most High and ask. But if it's something that you know needs to be done, why not do it? It's like my son, I shouldn't have to tell you stuff over and over again. It's something needs to be done, do it. It's like even in the military, like, I shouldn't have to tell you if it's trash in the back to pick it up, like, or do a forced police call. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you take pride in certain things, like, you're going to do it without somebody asking you. It's called initiative.
Yeah, but you was done?
Yeah, on that particular part. I think, you know what I'm saying? I already made up in my mind that whatever I can do to help the situation increase, you know what I mean, our redemption in this life, then that's what I'm going to do. Whatever avenue that the Most High has blessed me to be able to help in, that's what I'm going to do. I can only do what I'm equipped to do, and that's another thing. Like, don't be out here trying to do stuff you can't do, and then try to blame it on the Most High and say, or somebody look at, he wasn't with you, or whatever like that. Like, be wise about it. Don't just be jumping out here doing stuff now. That ain't what we saying now. Hold your horses now. But I am saying what you can do, do it. And what you can't, then that's when you go to the Most High and be like, look, we need this. And he might send somebody, or he might put that spirit on you. You don't know. So, just like with the whole Hebrew thing, like, I never thought I'd be this deep into Hebrew or whatever, but it was something that was required, and I desired it, and I feel like he, gave me that spirit to be able to do it. So that's what it is.
Yeah, first and foremost, I do want to say, be wise and don't just do something, okay? Okay, what I mean by my statement for sure, just so you know, you hear it out of my mouth, is you have to have a plan. You take steps to that plan. He'll be behind your steps. He'll be with you in your endeavors. You don't go from 0 to 600 to get 60. You don't just jump from here to there. Progression. And it might not be no miraculously money just dropped in your lap to do this stuff, or it might be, but you have to prepare and take steps. Okay? We've been under misconception a long time now that something has to just miraculously show me that this is some good. If you're righteous in your endeavors, why wouldn't it be some good? You know what I mean? It's not like you're trying to do something out of malicious intent, but as far as you take some steps, all right? That's what like you said, be wise. But I do want to, we'll go over, so call in 14 minutes before we open the line to Brother Mercy. 516-595-8238. That's 516-595-8238. Because we still have another chapter to go over. I'm sorry, we took so much time, Mercy, but we've been kind of flowing. Brother Mercy, I'm going to let you in. If that's okay with you, too?
I'm good for it.
All right. You good, Jamal?
Yes, sir.
I guess so. All right. Brother Mercy.
Hey, happy Sabbath, gentlemen.
Shalom.
I get into trouble all the time when it comes up to the story with Elijah. I get in trouble all the time. And the thing is, I would like to say a couple things. I'm going to talk about, I'm going to go back and, first of all, it was a whirlwind. So if the wind gets strong enough, it can carry you. If you jump into the strength of the wind, that's how a lot of people don't know. That's how a plane flies. A plane flies by the wind. Birds fly by flapping their wings into the wind. So we can learn something from Elijah today. If you use the wind, you can fly like a plane or a bird. The birds have mastered this art. I just wanted to say that. So it's naturally and scientifically possible. That's how planes do. The wind carries them. That's how birds do. The wind actually carries them in the air. And I just wanted to say that. With Elijah, that's why when they went to look for him, I think the ancients understood more than we know. And that's why they went to look for him on a mountain, because they knew Elijah went up to heaven by natural causes. So I just wanted to say that. And he could have been dead. He could have been dead, because if you reach a certain height up in the sky, as you go higher, is less oxygen, so it becomes harder to breathe. So if he actually went into space, as people tried to allude to, he would have died because of the elements up there don't support human beings. That's why astronauts have to wear a costume, because they have to have oxygen. That's how, if you have an oxygen tank, you can live in space. It's just simple scientific laws that you have to adhere to. So if you take this in a science class, these things are easily done. So the part about Elisha and Elijah, this part, 2 Kings chapter 2, I want to touch on, because people talk about the double portion. The scripture, to my knowledge, do not speak of Elijah having children. Especially up to this point, he doesn't have any children at this point. And we know in the Hebrew culture we have what's called the birthright, or this double portion goes to the firstborn son. And so I know Elisha understands this. I know Elijah understands this, because if you look at verse 12 in 2 Kings chapter 2, Elisha spiritually and figuratively calls Elijah his father. He says, my father, my father. So if he calls him his father, that means Elisha becomes the firstborn son, which means he received a double portion. Okay, so it's a spiritual, figurative, like, blessing. So if you don't have any children, who do you give your firstborn rights to? You don't have anybody to give it to. So Elisha knows this. So he says, give me a double portion. So since you don't have a son to give your blessing to, you can give it to me. So what I see here is just a symbolic representation of the ancient Hebrew practice, which a lot of us don't practice anymore, and that's why we can't understand it, because we don't practice it. Because if you practice it, you understand it. And so you understand you got to give your double portion to someone. So in essence, Elijah doesn't have any children, so he has to give his firstborn blessing to Elisha. So that's what I see here. And we know the firstborn, double portion just means, like, if I have three sons, three sons, I get 50% of my inheritance to the firstborn, then I split the other 50% between the other two sons to give 25 and 25. So that's how that works. So here, if Elisha gets a double portion, that means his double portion has to be compared to something. So Elijah may have later had sons, I don't know, because in order for him to have a double, he has to have double of what his brothers had. So, but of course, this is all figuratively and spiritual. It's not a literal application, but it is. But what it is they understand the practice. So I think that has to be understood in this. And then if you look at the last, I'm almost done. At the end, it's where was it? And we're talking about how Elisha cursed those boys. But where was Elisha on his way to? He was on his way to Mount Carmel, and that's found in verse 25. He says from there he went on to Mount Carmel, and from there he returned to Samaria. Why is Elisha going to Mount Carmel? Is Mount Carmel the place that Elijah performed that great miracle with the altar and the fire came down? See, Elisha knew about this. Everybody in Israel knew about what happened on Mount Carmel. So Elisha's on his way to that holy place. And on his way to that holy place, these boys come out, ridicule him. So what this teaches me is that after you receive a double portion, a double blessing, or if you're the firstborn of the prophet, if you're the firstborn of a great, powerful prophet, and you're on your way to worship at Mount Carmel, that holy place, and you're on your way, and someone tries to prohibit or distract you from reaching your destiny, which is Mount Carmel, to offer a sacrifice, then I believe this power is in you as well that's in Elisha. So let's be careful what we say to people. Because if Brother Mercy is on his game and really doing what the Most High want him to do, and someone persecutes Brother Mercy and Brother Mercy gets angry and says something out of spite, that could happen. I just wanted to let y'all brothers know that. And I'm not trying to scare you guys. You got to be careful what you say, because if you doing what the Most High wants you to do and you on that A game and you're on your way to Mount Carmel, that holy place, and you receive the double portion of blessings, your enemies need to be careful. And I'm not going to say enemy, I'm just saying these are just boys. But the point is people need to be careful, because at that point, I believe the Most High is backing you. And at that point, you could maybe he's angry when he said it. Who knows? But maybe he just said it. Or maybe he did, you just got to be careful. And that's all I wanted to say.
Hey, Brother Mercy. Brother Mercy, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Excellent presentation of bringing it through. I just want to say one thing, though. We had brought up the whole little children part and a rendition of that word children. And we know, and I'm pretty sure you might know as well, that the word for children is yeledim, right? But for the word they used here was na'ah or na'arim. And it is referring to, that word is actually men. So when it's talking about little men or young, it was a young man. It can be it's a chance that these young men are definitely not little children, but they were probably, how you'll be talking to someone. I don't know how old you are, but like I've had someone that's my mother's age, around like 50 or whatever, call me a young man. I'm 33. And or call a 26-year-old a young man. So the scripture alludes to or shows that it's actually not the actual children like baby, goo goo, gaga, 12, 11, 13-year-old, or 9 or something like that. It's more so these probably were some young men. But this isn't to take away from what you brought out. You brought out some very excellent points. This is just to show that this isn't Yeladim when it says children for the listeners out there. This is Na'ar or Na'arim. So it's totally, it's a little difference.
Okay. I want to say, I'm going to take you out the queue real quick. So you'll be able to.
Did he have a response? Did he have something to say in regards to that, though? Like, I wanted to give him the opportunity if he had anything to say to it. But that's all.
Did you have a response, Brother Mercy?
Yeah, I was going to say, even in the scripture, you'll find them calling the children of Israel, so that's very relevant. I don't think all the children of Israel were little boys, so, they called the children of Israel, so we know, that's very relevant. They definitely were young men, I would assume. So, yeah, definitely, I agree.
Cool.
All right, I'm going to take you out. Yeah, that was an excellent presentation. I wanted to say, Brother Mercy, you kind of brought it. We let you talk a little bit, but you brought it to fruition. Definitely would say, watch what you say. Period. Because you ever heard? Now this might, I know a lot of people this might be a little spookish, but I don't know. I've always said, watch what you say, because you could be like, I hope you die, and that person die or something. Maybe that's just something I grew up with, so I've been learning to watch my mouth, point blank, period. But it might be, saying some truth to that too. When you say some things and that thing come through. So we have to be careful. There's been some times I've been upset and said some things that I hope, but they done did me wrong. Did I mean it? Yeah, I meant it. And I probably mean it today, but I did say some things, and I was younger too. I haven't done this in the latest or whatever, but I really hope that some of them things didn't even come to pass, because, you get older, you're like it wasn't even that worth it. You never know. That's one thing. And then, as far as Shamar's little, not little, but he's saying the young men, the little children, the young men thing, we still young. We done given ourselves a cap on age that we say 40's old. You are how old you feel, and we actually are supposed to be living longer, but if we were to follow the dietary, we would be living longer as people. But they cap us out around, 60 or something like that. Black men die. Women live a little longer. And that's not even really that old. The reason why people's bodies is falling apart is they don't take care of them. Back then, they took care of themselves. So they could have been young men, and technically back then, that man could have been 50 in his strength. They said Moses was like 80 and didn't look like it. 80. So, we finna, they got 90 seconds, the ladies in my ear. 516-595-8238. We're going to go into the overtime. I'm going to let Yeti out to speak. And she just interrupted me on my, with the 90 seconds thing. So we're going to go into the third chapter. You got the floor, Yeti.
All right, cool. Before I get started, though, I just wanted to comment on what Brother Mercy said. I think it was very powerful what the brother said and how he brought it all around. I totally agree. I don't think he said anything wrong far as what I was presenting, far as the, him going up into the sky. That's how I would translate it, but the heavens. And I think it was important that he brought into the context of, I know I talked about it, but I didn't really go into depth, but I like the way he utilized the information of them going out on the search party, because why would you go search if you knew that he went up there with the Most High? So to them, it probably just was, like I said, a whirlwind, tornado or something came and sucked them up. You know, it was lightning, and then a tornado came, sucked them up, and they wanted to know what happened to them. They went looking. I mean, it's many times. I'm from the Tornado Valley, you know, North Texas, so it's many times that tornadoes done hit and bodies are not found. You know, so I just think it was a good point, and I like the way he kind of broke that down. Like everything that he said was on point to me. So I really appreciate him sharing. And like the brother O said, you know, we encourage everybody to come on and share. You know, because you never know how it will affect somebody's way of viewing what happened in the scriptures and get them a better understanding. So please, by all means, if you got something, share it. All right, going into chapter 3. So chapter 3 begins with speaking on the reign of Jehoram, which is Joram in the English tongue. And so what I found interesting about it, the account concerning him, is that the words say that he did evil, which is basically he did wrong in the sight of, or according to, Yod-Heh-Waw-Heh, the Lord. But what I notice is that it make mention that he was not like his father and his mother. Now, if I'm not mistaken, this is talking about Jezebel and Ahab. And so he said that he removed the idol of his father. And then the word tells us that what he did do was follow in the sin of Yerabam, which is Jeroboam. He walked after that sin, which he calls Yisrael to sin. So he still was in sin. You know, he still walked in not in a righteous way. But it does make a distinction that, you know, he didn't walk as his father did and his mother did, and he removed the idols. And like I've been saying as we've been going through, what I've noticed is that the like one of the biggest things that it speaks on is this idolatry. Like, that's one of the biggest things that when it identifies somebody as wicked, like, that is, like, one of the top things. So that's what I've been seeing. And so the chapter goes on to elaborate a little bit more on the rebellion of Moab that we saw in the first chapter speak about. And so in doing that, some very interesting things I saw that was revealed. One being that the king was paranoid, and, you know, he was inquiring of the prophet Elisha concerning going to battle with the Moabites. So that's something that, you know, we saw last time where they asked, you know, when it was the 400 prophets, and then he was like, is it not a prophet of Yah around here that we can, you know, kind of consult and I want to see what he say. And so I kind of see this as a pattern. Like, there's prophets, and then there's prophets of Yah. Like, it seemed like during this era, it was people that they saw as prophets, or they gave the title of a prophet to, and then it was ones that they knew for sure there was, hey, this Yah prophet right here, like this the one. You know, if you really want to know something, this who you ask, type of deal. And so I noticed that as well. And then another thing that was interesting is that Elisha, his attitude, like, towards them when they came and asked him, and he only really gave them an answer because of his respect for Yehoshaphat. And so, you know, a lot of people say, you know, the whole respect of persons and stuff like that type of deal. But the brother kind of, on our last show, the brother kind of had a different understanding of that as well, is what I noticed. So I have to look more into what that actually supposed to mean. But what I see here is that he had his preference on who he dealt with, and wasn't nothing really wrong with that. I mean, he let it be known that he really don't deal. I really don't respect y'all. I don't want to deal with y'all. I ain't telling you nothing type of deal. And shoot, I feel like that sometimes, to be honest. I get to a point to where it's like, man, don't ask me about anything because, you know, you want to come to me for this information, then you want to act some type of way after you get the information. You know what I'm saying? It's like you leeching is what we say in Texas. You leeching. You trying to suck me dry. You know what I'm saying? And you ain't putting nothing in, you know, type of deal. Or, you know, you got your ways and you still want you want what the Most High has rendered to me. You want it from me, but you want to treat me bad, or whatever the case may be. So I saw this attribute or this characteristic within the prophet. And then 3, and I know Brother Shammai, he gonna probably want to come in on this one, but what I saw prior to this is this harp, or being played, and then the spirit was, you know, kind of removed from Shaul. But on this it says the minstrel, you know, had played, which a minstrel is just a person that is kind of like a minister of music, basically. And so this minstrel playing triggered the hand of Yah to come upon Elisha. So when you look at the word hand, that's just a word that represents power. That's a way of saying the Most High's power came upon him, you know, his strength. So it wasn't the Most High's literal hand that came down. So just want to make that clear. And then we see that Elisha, after that, you know, he spoke the instruction of the Most High. And what I kind of noticed about that is that, coming from a reality standpoint, is that the instruction called for actual work on the part of the people. And if you read 17 through 19, you'll see what that was. You know, he told them to dig, you know, some trenches or whatever, and water was going to come up and all this stuff like that. So it was some actual work that was put in. Then you see some more stuff that was said, and then you see the conclusion of the chapter where the Most High's words that was spoken by the prophet was fulfilled. So everything that he spoke through the prophet and he told them to do, and then he said that was going to happen to them, giving them the victory and all that stuff, that actually happened. But I'm pretty sure the instructions that was given to them that they had to go out and do physical labor, so on and so forth, they did in order for all this to come to pass. So that's pretty much all I really wanted to say on this chapter, and I render the floor.
Brother Shema, you got the floor.
Oh, okay. Good points. Good points. Well, I just wanted to bring out something really quick. Hold on, let me find it. It's in chapter 3, verse 2. And I think this is important for everybody that's listening to really pay attention to. Verse 2 says that he did what was evil in the eyes of Yah. I just wanted to touch on that part. He did what was evil in the eyes of Yah. We saw that with a few people when he said that he did what was right or good or righteous in the eyes of Yah. So here's what I want people that's listening to pay attention to. Doing evil in the eyes of Yah can be doing good or great in the eyes of man, as well as doing right in the eyes of Yah, good, can be doing evil or bad in the eyes of man. If you did not understand what I said, I'm going to say it again. When you are doing good or everything right or doing things good in the eyes of Yah, that does not mean that to the people that's looking at you that you are doing good. Matter of fact, you probably can be doing weird to them, bad to them, or doing what they believe that the Most High will not accept. If you are doing evil in the eyes of Yah, according to people that do understand what's evil in the eyes of Yah, the rest of the world and the rest of the people can think that you are actually doing good in the eyes of Yah due to the fact that they don't even understand what is good in the eyes of he who causes to exist, according to his word. That's all I wanted to bring out in this chapter.
Okay. I was looking at some things while he was talking also about in verse 3 it says, the reference about he stuck on to the lens of his father and drove him in Nabat. Okay. Now I just wanted to go back a little bit. That's in 1 Kings between 12, 13, and 14. If I'm not wrong about this, is what the main point was that, remember, the people was trying to, he felt like he was going, not that one. Remember, he had a festival, and he had made 2 calves, like an image. He said, this is the person that took you out of Egypt. Okay? That's what he had. He had a whole nother day. He did some slaughtering, just like the festival in Judah. But he made 2 golden calves. I think. Let me see. And this is where he had all the prophets and stuff. Like he also made high priests of places. If y'all remember. So
yeah, I remember.
This was a big. Remember we were saying this is a big thing. Yeah, he took down a slaughter places of other gods, but in the same term, he still had an out of order high priest thing. He still had images of the Most High. He still had an image of the Most High. Or no, he didn't. But y'all know what I'm saying. They replaced them. They tried to replace. It ain't even like you just going out to follow another God. You said these calves, just like what Aaron and them did. These calves took us about. Ooh, you dig what I'm saying? And he kept on to that. All right. I just want to point out that for some reason, that one is lingering on. The bad part about it is it's still attributed to, it's not like a different belief. This is attributed to what we went through, and we are changing what it is. These two calves did it. And we breaking a commandment out the Torah while we do it. And we got our own system set up where we going to anoint high priests that ain't out the line of Levi. If y'all want to read on it, it's 1 Kings 12 through 14. It talks about the whole story. I'm not going to back. For real. So, and it's at the end of 12, where it kind of starts. 12 and 12 is where they start. 1 Kings 12 and 12. So I'm kind of capping, but that's, put a caption over it. Basically, y'all read it on your own. I'm doing an overview. All right. So I wanted to say that about this sin that just kept on going, just in case we forgot what sin it was. I never paid attention to this. I just read that, and I just like, okay. Instead of saying, wait, what actual sin was that? Because he didn't do evil like in the eyes of but he still did some evil. What was it? Because, we think it's just, everybody did idolatry. Now, what form of idolatry is this? It's a different one. Okay? Do this. Pull it up. I had to go to two different places because I was reading that. We touched on a lot of stuff. I like what the brother said about his attitude about not dealing with, you know what I'm saying? That was very good. And the harpist thing, I had that highlighted. So this harp music or music stream or whatever brought, I'm trying to make it in a general term, but kind of ushered in, ushered in the spirit. And this man did some things after that. Let me just say it like that. I ain't want to use very churchy terms, but I ain't know how I have to say it because that's where my mind going to go first because I've been in church for years.
Hey, man, that's good.
You know what I mean?
People could relate to it,
Yeah,
how they relate.
I couldn't, yeah, that's how the only thing I could think about, you know what I'm saying? So the spirit was ushered in, and now people are, things happen. So it ain't no slack thing that the Sunday churches, you know what I'm saying? Now, some stuff is erroneous, but I've seen times where literally some music, and I'm not talking about no Sunday church people either. I'm talking about people that did, Sabbath, you know what I mean? They were some true people, and they be really, you know what I'm saying, subject to the Sunday church thing too. So I'm not giving that example. I'm giving you two examples. The music plays, and it's the solemn music to the Most High. You know what I'm saying? People get to worship in between, and they just get into the spirit. They weep, and they just give glory to the Most High. They can't help it. They just feel great. I've seen the instances, and I don't know, so this music ushering in thing, at times,
it's biblical.
That's real. You know what I'm saying?
It's biblical.
So,
say it.
Right. So you can't knock people that's out there knocking sometimes when y'all be seeing some stuff and you just knock it, you knocking something that happens in the Bible that's of the Most High. Sometimes we might have to repent because we don't know what really been took place. People have attributed that to demonic things, but it's right here. But I've seen it myself, something. I felt a great joy just to want to praise the Most High more than ever at that time. It set me in a place of solemn peace. And the reason why people cry and weep when they're in total peace is because they haven't felt this before.
Bruh.
Or in between
People
times.
act like they never heard the tears of joy.
Man, these people will see people crying and thank you, and they be like, these people are so fake. If you ain't never been in that place, you might want to check your spirit, because when you feel the presence of the Most High, your body does not know how to handle it. More so, it's different people's reactions will be different people's reactions. You can get an energy, or you can get a solemn peace to where your body is at perfect harmony. It feels like everything calms down. Your heart rate, you know what I'm saying?
Man,
and
I want to throw something in there on what you're saying. Check it out. The opposite side of that is this. You bringing out how, the presence of Most High, what it does to some people, right? What about when that presence is when they feel that presence or they know that presence is about to leave? What's the opposite reaction? They go crazy. What we've been reading, we've been seeing how Dawid act when he knew, please don't take your spirit.
Mm-hmm.
We saw how Saul act. We saw how these people act. We ain't witnessing that today. That goes to question, like, we're not saying we ain't witnessing, but you're not seeing that on a large scale. So that goes to question, are we really having or feeling the true presence and essence of the one that caused us to exist? Because these people was going nuts when they thought they was leaving, the Most High was leaving.
But here's the thing, though. The harpist comes in and say the music ushers in. Because at music, we all know, music does something to you. Your soul, like, on some real. You can hear some real hard stuff, and that's how your mind is conditioned to. That negativity, you negative, you do. You're not. It's like the music can make you calm. It can make you amp, sad. All of the emotions you can hit all of them.
Hey,
okay? But
you're gonna give me the talking, but go ahead.
Hey, but you get this music that is dedicated to the Most High, right? And you begin to sing the music dedicated to the Most High. What are you doing? You're worshiping. And if He comes down to see about you in that time of worship, because that's what that is perfect. What we're doing at that time, we're worshiping in perfect harmony. I'm talking about some genuine stuff, right? Now, yes, the leaving part, but maybe it can't stay because at the same time, we ain't right yet. You know what I'm saying? You can have a little individual over here and there, but we ain't right enough to harness it like these prophets harnessing it. David harnessing it. Because at that time, they knew how to live perfectly according to the Most High. We still might be messing up in some places. We'll be fools to think that we got it all down, even according to the law. So who knows? But He know we trying. So in the midst, in between, He can show you what you're searching for, and how you obtain it too. It used to be a certain song, man, when I first changed my life, bro, it was a certain song. Every time it came on, I cried. I'm a grown man, bro. I was 30. I ain't crying in years. This one song, man, I can't remember what song. After a while, it was different for me. I had different songs, but it was, I'm going to think of the song because it's in my head now, but I'm not going to go into it. But that song made me come to tears. So I'm like, man, because I could begin to sing it to him. And I used to be like, I could feel the presence on certain songs. I can feel because I sing that song to the Most High. And it's only a couple because I'm very selective now. I began to worship the Most High, and I feel Him, like presence but I'm not, I might be missing here and missing there because I be trying to hold on to it. And you try to hold on to it, but look at the difference. I got to go deal with this world too. So it might not be that long before my mind is not in 100 in platoon just thinking of Him anyway after that, because I've got to concentrate on so much other stuff now. It is about harmony and meditation type like this. I want to use that, but like to the Most High though. It's something about that, like Shema was saying. And that's how you're going to feel Him, because you're in perfect meditation. You're in harmony with Him. Or you could put on some music and begin to worship to Him. And you will feel Him for real, but, Like, you can't sit in no mountain for 40 days, so you about to go to work. And at work, you get upset, you tripping, woo, you know. I don't know. It's like I don't walk in feeling like I'm some kind of monk. They'd be like, yes. Then I'd be like, yes, I'm about to go deliver some things. You know, I got to be like, I get my mind right. Woo, it's so much going on. But back then, it was different. They had a lot more time to dedicate. They didn't have, you a king, you ain't got to do nothing. You the prophet, you ain't really got to do nothing. You know, some people had to do stuff. But look at the people that we're talking about, too. He didn't say that, and Elisha went and tilled the ground for 40 minutes either. This man walking around doing and just spending time with the Most High all the time. So his mind frame is 100% there. David got time. All he do is go kill people and chill, maybe every now and then, you know, just once, you know, he takes people's wives. But
yeah, I wanted to say, I wanted to say that, you know, a little piece of information. I don't know if you said this, but I thought it was important not to leave out that he actually asked for the person to come and play. Like, he knew what was going to happen once that minister of music started to play. It was like he knew. He's like, hey, man, give him a person to, you know, start playing. Right. And then it happened. Like, he requested it. It wasn't like he just started playing, you know, like Dawid did when he started playing and that evil spirit left Shaul. This was upon request. So it was like a known thing to me.
Yeah. Hey, y'all think I'm weird because I listen to harp music.
Who think you weird?
Who think you weird?
I'm
playing. But I actually want to learn how to play the
maybe you got
harp
some people that really think you. Yeah, I think you got some people like man. It's that something about that solid. I'm gonna jump off of it. I'm done with that part. Let's see if I got any more points. But all I want to say is even like getting you some like just instruments playing, or just sit there and chill. Just let the music tone you, or maybe like some little waterfall type, whatever calms you, and you will be amazed on and just begin to worship the Most High. You'll be amazed on how you feel. Now, sometimes, man, you let so much stuff go on, and I really ain't got time for this, that. We overload ourselves in life, and we don't utilize the Most High the way we need to be utilizing Him. If we say we are children of Israel, that means we have to be able. You say, you know, we can't just be down all the time as a people and got all the excuses talking about it's the curses. Now, something ain't right, but because they was under some curses too, and there was some individuals out of there every time that ain't falling up under that judgment like that. They got the best treatment. They are getting, you know what I'm saying? We can't keep having these excuses too. But for us that know the law, sometimes we don't have, I don't have a lot of time sometimes, but I'm going to get back to having making some time. And we just start connecting, you know, spending more time with the Most High. On an individual level, we'll feel that too, but we should be able to, you know, I ain't living like you living. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, you know, and I don't have to. So my point with that part is, you know, like a lot of brothers, man, they'll sit there and ain't gonna do nothing because they keep throwing these curses up. That don't mean you don't supposed to support for your family. You don't supposed to go out there and make things happen. You don't. That is Israel as a nation, yes, but we are individuals right now in this nation. And you better be on one accord. All right. That was a great thing about he called the harpers. Y'all still there? Okay, yeah. All right, he called the harpers. That was amazing. Because, like he said, he knew. All right? And something about, like, now, I think this is just a very was a very good point to bring out as far as that, because we have to also see how they worshiped as far as according to this culture and what they knew. This is what we are also looking at this thing too for, you know. So let's just take that. Like you say, let's take that and say, okay, you know what, maybe I need to listen to music more. Or like listen to some harps or something. You know, and the Most High come visit me too. Just something. Take it. All right. The meditation, like Shema said, back in what Genesis, right? You know, and he brought out the difference of the word, and you know, that's back then.
That form of
so
for the listeners that don't know what you're talking about, I want to just say something about that. That form of prayer, I think it was. Was it prayer? What was the word? I think it was prayer, or no,
meditation.
Meditate. Right. So to meditate on my word, I think it was, or something along those lines. But anyway, that word was that's the only time that word, Hebrew word, is used in the whole Tanakh. And the thing that I brought out was Isaac, I think it was, right? Was it Isaac? Was the longest living of the patriarchs, of those Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And the reason I brought that out, and this is going to connect in what he's saying right now, is when you think of meditation, people do it today. A lot of them, they live long. It's a calming thing. But if we added that within our way of worshiping or serving or connected with the Most High, it might bring, you know, because our forefathers actually did it, you know. And so I just wanted to bring that out and tell you exactly what he was talking about when he said that I brought it out then. So meditation is definitely good as far as having calm environment, having your music playing. I actually have harp MP3s that I actually should not play. You know, some people won't agree with this portion of what I say, but I actually have incense going as well. So, you know, it just depends on what you have to do to get connected to the Most High individually.
Yeah, good stuff. Hold on. I had to switch over headphones real quick. Y'all can hear me fine?
Yeah, you good. I think Mercy in the queue.
Okay. All right, I'm just going to get to my points real quick, and then I'll keep it pushing. So, I ain't got much, but 16. And he said, thus says Yahweh, make the wadi ditches and ditches and da-da-da-da. My point for saying all that is basically that look at these signs that had to affirm you as a prophet. Sometimes we cannot walk around here believing people are prophets and we ain't seen no signs. I say all this because, man, when we come into these times, man, it's always going to be some false prophets. But if things going to be set up the way it was back in the day and we come into those times, we're going to need some real people hearing from the Most High, some prophets. And we're going to have to decipher this way, this type of stuff. Because this is common, and this is what it is. Not someone just telling you something, and you don't have the proof. So if you're going to do a YouTube video, I don't know. I mean, you better be, to all the nations, just going to get this YouTube channel, and you want to say the Most High going to make it rain 2 weeks from now, and I can't know that or something. I don't know. Whatever you say the Most High, it better do that. But you better have some signs come with you because that's how they knew. And just like Yah said, there were some prophets and there were some prophets of Yah that everybody knew. And why did they know? Because what they said came to pass. And these people was coming and talking about some, tomorrow your altar going to split in two. And it do it. I ain't never heard nobody say that in real life. Never heard nobody say, this is going to happen, or this is, or tomorrow. Well, I lie. I take that back. It happened. So, but majority of these prophets aren't having words that bold, strong, and have no confirmation behind it. All right. And then 19, and you shall strike every walled city of the choice and cut down every good tree and stop every foundation of water, every one of the piece of land with stone. With stone. It's the instructions that they're supposed to do, just like when they're supposed to clear out everybody in these certain lands and stuff that they was walking through. I want to say this is proactive. This is not the Most High just being all that stuff just gone. They have to do something. But he told them what to do. He told them what to do, and they got to work. Okay? The Most High give you something, you got to work to it. You want miraculously know Hebrew. You want miraculously, might not miraculously become a millionaire. I say you won't. But you have to put in some effort toward what you're doing. You're going to have to do it. If the Most High told you to do something, do it. Exactly the way he said do it. But you're going to have to do it. Do something, basically. All right, it came to be in the morning. The grain offers. Okay, all right, the land was filled with water, blah. All this stuff happened. 22. And they rose up early in the morning. Sun was shining on the water. The Moabites saw the water on the other side as red as blood. 22. Early in the morning. Every time I see these terms, I come to find out how we've been duped. All right? And if you don't, I'm not going to get into it, but if you don't know what I'm talking about, go back to start watching some of our old stuff. I'm not going to beat that horse no more. All right? 25, and they broke down the cities, and each man threw a stone on every good piece of land and filled it. So they did what the Most High said, and they stopped all the foundations of water and cut down all the good trees. So only stones of Haraseth was left. What's it called? And the slingers went round and struck it. So this is them proactively doing this. Now, I'm pretty sure for you to cut down every tree, this was some hard work for some of them trees. Okay. And I'm pretty sure this happened in some days. You know what I'm saying? So they had to go over there and do some stuff. They weren't just having an axe and going, pow, pow. Unless they just had a lot of small trees in that time. All right. That was that. And, 27. Then took his eldest son. This is after Moab saw things weren't going right. Go back and took his eldest son, who would have reigned in his place, and offered him as an ascendant offering upon the wall. And there was great wrath against Israel. And they left him and returned to the land. First off, I want to know, if anybody knows, what is the wall? Is that the wall that was around Jerusalem? And, and this dude, just by law, offered his son. Well, that could be looked at in a different way too, but offered his son as an ascendant offering, that's what it say. And upon the wall of Jerusalem, breaking the commandment, and that's why, Israel, of course, would be mad. I mean, that's kind of what I got from it. Because that's breaking one of the laws. You're not supposed to offer your child on the wall of Jerusalem for an ascendant offering. Am I tripping? Before I even say something else, there was great wrath against Israel. They left him and returned to that land. Anybody there?
Oh, you asking for us right now?
Yeah, I've said before I go any further.
All right, render the question again.
All right. First off, was about that wall. It said he gave his son. Correct what it say. Is he took his eldest son, who would have reigned in his place, and offered him as an ascendant offering upon the wall, and there was great wrath against Israel.
Okay.
And they left him and returned to the land. So my first question was, was at the wall of Jerusalem that he had put this, what's the wall? Okay, that was like the first question, because that would give me a little bit more understanding, because I'm thinking it probably was the wall of Jerusalem because it said the wall. And, I don't know. Maybe I'm fast forward to a wall in the future times. But that was like utter disrespect. Then maybe I'm tripping. That was the second part. He gave his eldest son the ring, and offered him as a sending offering. Or if that's not the wall of Jerusalem, then he a Moabite, and that's his culture to offer his son as an ascending offering. And
yeah, so
that's when we look at that, to be like, that's crazy.
I seen it as the latter part of what you're saying. I don't think that's Jerusalem, because it says they return back to their own land. So, I don't think that's where it was. So I think they was in the Moabite territory at that point, and I think it was just more so they was disgusted that he offered his own child as a sacrifice, and so after that they just left, like, in disgust.
And Israel left and went to their own land?
Yeah.
Okay. So basically, you see how they felt about that. That was my main point. Like, also, like how they felt about you, killing your son as an offering. They didn't think that to be cool. I'm just gonna put that out there, and I'm done with that, because that's 25. So, you said, 27. Think Mercy's in the queue?
Yeah, I think he been in there for a little bit. So,
yeah. Or
he didn't press the one when he got out the first time, but I don't know. I just see the little question mark next to the mic. So
I'll put it up there.
Yeah, hey, brothers. I did try to get out a long time ago, but I was stuck in there after a while. I kept hitting one, but I couldn't get out. But I did have something I wanted to say, and I kept hitting one when I wanted to say something, but I didn't get back, I don't know. But anyway, I wanted to say, though.
Hold on, Mercy. You went low.
I was going to say about the Moabite. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, perfectly.
Yeah, the king killed his son when he knew he was about to be defeated, and the Israelites ran away. We see him killing his son to prevent, him dying or the rest of his nation dying, however you want to look at it, to stop the attack. He killed his son. So it was a preventive measure to stop something worse from happening. He killed his son. So I just wanted to share that. I wanted to see that because we see a king or someone sacrifice a son in a foreign nation because he's trying to prevent something worse happening, if that makes any sense. I just wanted to present that because I hear this ideology coming from the Christian church about a son being sacrificed to prevent something worse from happening. However, it still was ended in defeat, if you follow what I'm saying. So that can't be the gospel message, killing your son. Because Abraham didn't kill son Isaac. He allowed him to live. And I think that's the part of the story Christians forget. They tell the Abrahamic story, but they forget to tell the part about how Abraham let his son live. So letting your son live revives and continues the nation, which Torah teaches us. If we let our children live and provide the best substance for our children to live and be successful, then the nation continues. But if we kill our children like the foreign nations did when they were about to be defeated, we defeat ourselves. So I don't think the gospel message is to kill your son or God's son. I don't think that's the gospel message, if that makes sense, brothers. But I just wanted to say that what I see here is a foreign nation killing his son. People say, well, the Romans killed him and God wanted that to happen. Why would God want his son to die? Do you want your own son to die? No, you don't. So I just wanted to say that because people think killing your own son is the gospel message, and I just don't agree. That's all I wanted to say.
All right, Brother Mercy, I'm going to let you out the queue. Hold on 1 second. All right, I'll let you out. Press the 1 so I can see if you're going to come out. Like, you know, because we're coming up on end anyway. So I can agree, like, that can't be what, because this example shows there was defeat at the end of that. Like it does, I don't know. Mine say a sending offering, so.
That was really like, if you want to put it, I know I'm cutting you out, but I just want to say this.
No, go ahead.
Before you get too far away from it. But, like, the way Brother Mercy kind of expressed it, he says that after that was defeat. But I want to kind of put a little different twist to it. It's really along the same lines, but I just want to put it in a little bit of a different way. So the way I'm seeing it is that he sacrificed his son as a sign of accepting defeat. Like, that was his sign to show, look,
that was an offer to them.
Right. It's like, look, you know what I'm saying? I'm defeated. I'm going to sacrifice my son to kind of express that. And that's what I wanted to say.
That's good. I don't know. I don't know, like I say, there's so many ways that it can look at it. I did say it is another way, and it basically, okay, now here's the problem. And there was great wrath against Israel. That's the one that I didn't understand. Well, how could that be rendered better? Is there a better way to render it? You understand what I'm saying?
Hold on. Yeah, I got to go to it and look at it in the Hebrew. So give me a little bit of time to do that.
While he's searching for it, that's where I was like, and there was great wrath against Israel. Now I'm trying to figure out what did that mean. So that's what he's seeing, if it's a different way to render it, or like if anybody has that answer or whatever. And they left him and returned to the land. They left the Moabite dude and returned to the land. There was great wrath against Israel. What happened? Was that the fight after the ascension offering? Or, you know what I'm saying? Is it like he cut his son at the time where they was fighting, and then they just left? It seemed to be just thrown in there, and I'm like, I don't know. Mercy in the queue again. Mercy, did you ever hear that? Take Brother Mercy in the queue. Let me let Brother Mercy in while you're looking. Brother, I ain't heard nothing yet. Y'all said anything.
Oh, okay. So I found what I was, you know what I'm saying, I got to it, I looked at it. And so the word there is kitsaf, which is, it can be rendered as wrath, but what we really got to look at is the preposition being used there as al. And that preposition is being translated as against. But al could be, you know, upon, above, over. So basically, it's kind of, it can be rendered as more so like there was a wrath over Israel, or, you know, upon Israel. So it's more like the wrath I'm seeing is that it came upon Israel more so. It's like Israel is the people that are mad. Not that, you know, the wrath or like was inflicted, was against, you know. That's how I'm seeing it.
Right. Against makes it like, sounds more like
it happened to them. Wrath came
to them.
You know.
Right, upon them. That's in our translation, the way we think about it. But I guess if you look at what against means, you know, to us, it's just laying upon it, like laying on it. Like lay that against that, or that's laying against that. And with that concept, I guess it's just like, could it be like with?
Like rested,
also?
basically rested.
Okay.
Like you
an
know
emotion
what I'm saying? Like
that they had.
Right. So like, you know, they say the seat of emotion. So like it basically, wrath came upon them. Like when you get mad, really, like they say, oh, the spirit of anger was upon him, or the spirit of the Most High is upon me. So that wrath was upon them, meaning that, you know, they felt the emotion of wrath. That's really what's being said in the Hebrew.
Right. And it has a lot more clarity. And then they left and returned to their land. So after he did that, they had wrath and they left. So it appeased the crowd, what he did. And now that makes sense. But if I'm reading, well, in my rendition it say against, I don't know what it say, KJV. I'm just showing like these words.
Oh, you say yours say against?
Yeah.
Right. And it says, let me see, in the KJV, it says, and there was a great indignation against Israel.
And still against.
Right, against.
So, and it wouldn't have been a problem because against still kind of means it's upon and all that. It's just that the language has changed so much. And when we say something nowadays, sometimes it ain't how they said it in English.
Like if you say, man, you against me, you know, that means somebody's opposing to you.
Right. And that's how we would put it. But hundreds of years ago, that against might not have been a wrong word to use because they might have understood what was being said. Possibly. But just like English language does transform, even sometimes you might have a problem reading KJV because they speak different. And this is just something that, let's say that you're like, okay, you're a KJV only person, right? And it says against. And we just showed that against, in our way of thinking about it, usually is not saying that they had the attitude. It would be that it was something forcibly against them, the way we translate it. So you would even have to say then, I can't read the KJV without understanding how they spoke back then. So you still would have to get into the mindset.
So let's just say this though. Let's take it here though. This is what people gotta understand when you look at this stuff. Like when they say the Spirit of the Lord is upon me. Now let me switch out upon with against. The Spirit of the Lord is against me. You see the dramatic change?
Mm-hmm.
You would literally think the Most High Spirit is against you, like is opposed to you. So it's just some words you just got to kind of stay away from. Like, you know what I'm saying? If you translating the Bible, that's just my opinion. Like, you want to use more neutral words than definite words that can give a definite thought to somebody. That's just my opinion, you know. Because upon, you could kind of, you know, take that.
Upon is totally different. Yeah, upon is totally different. It's like hovered over me, like upon me. That's as we think. But against is, I don't know. Like I say, I don't know how they spoke back then, so I might be.
That's what I would have translated.
I might be in the error. Right.
Wrath was upon Israel.
And then they left and went home. That makes a lot more sense because after what I was looking at, I'm like, against. Here you go looking at against, like tore to pieces. Same thing. And I'm like, what they do? At this point, I'm trying to understand what the wrath was against Israel for at this point.
Yeah, man. The Hebrew is important to know. Like, that's just, I mean, we see many examples as we going through, but, you know, it's just a level that you want to be on, man. Like, I wouldn't tell nobody, you know, you have to do this, but I'm not going to sit here and act like it's not beneficial to know. And then what happens is when you tell somebody this, be like, no, this ain't what that mean. Like, there's a trust issue. But you trust somebody that basically translated this stuff as well. You know what I'm saying? So.
Right. And he never had no conversation with them.
Right.
But Brother Mercy's in the queue. I'm going to give my closer real quick. I don't know. We'll try to put you in real quick. I don't know if I'm making it back. But I'd just like to thank everybody for tuning in like always. It's been a good show. There's so much stuff that brought up. And it's like so much. Like we have to probably make a rest show about some of this stuff. Maybe like how the people feel about what's real and what's not real in the church today. What have you experienced and what is like something that you might feel to be outrageous? These are your experiences of what you thought. That could be a rest show. And just keep that in mind, y'all. And that's about it. I'm not going to take up too much time. We'll give the floor to Jetty. He's going to put out any information he feels to be relevant. Shalom.
Man, I just thank everybody for tuning in. Catch us next week. All the videos, again, they posted to YouTube, so, subscribe and check it out. That's all I got. Shalom.